Hey everybody, today I want to talk about the Vlad Blad Avenger 3 Pro. This is the big brother to the Vlad Blad Avenger 2 Pro, which has been one of my favorite machines since I started using it. There are some similarities, but then there are also some major upgrades from the 2 to the 3, so let's talk about if it's worth the upgrade. First, I want to give a shout out to Vlad Blad for sending out this machine for a review. I do appreciate the support to my channel, but as always, I will be giving you my honest opinion about my experience with this machine. The Vlad Blad Avenger 3 Pro comes in at $1,498 USD, which makes it the most expensive machine in my drawer at the moment. And with a price tag like that, I'm going to be talking about who I think this machine is for later on in the video. I was super excited to unbox this machine when it first came in. They have a no frills packaging for the Avenger 3 Pro. It's a small cardboard box that the machine comes in. It comes with a pack of stickers and the machine. On their site, they talk about being environmentally conscious because, let's be honest, who needs a big fancy box for a tattoo machine? Holding this machine for the first time, I was a little bit concerned about the size and weight after I was very used to the size and weight of the Avenger 2 Pro. And that's something I'm gonna get into in a minute. The multi-stroke system up here on the top of the machine is basically the same as the Avenger 2 Pro with just some small changes, but it does still serve the same function. The knob to change the stroke is on the right-hand side over here instead of the left-hand side on the Avenger 2 Pro. We still have the 3.2, 3.5, 3.8, 4.2, 4.7, and the 5.5 millimeter stroke option. This range of strokes makes this machine incredibly versatile, making it easy to achieve any style or technique that you want. I had a lot of people message me over the last couple years and ask me how I wrap my rubber band around my Avenger 2 Pro because they were just having trouble with the rubber band snapping because of rubbing on the top of the tube. So I'm glad to see that they solved this problem with the needle bar stabilizer. This is definitely a welcomed upgrade. One thing I would have liked to see with the needle bar stabilizer is a separate screw to tighten it down. On the Avenger 3, the screw that tightens the vise also tightens the stabilizer, which can sometimes be frustrating to deal with if you are going to adjust your tube and you accidentally adjust your stabilizer or vice versa. You are able to unscrew this part of the body and access the battery to be able to change it out. The batteries are Panasonic 18,500 batteries. They're very common and you can purchase extras very easily online. You do though only get one battery with this machine. If you do want to get an extra, you have to go out and buy it yourself. And for the price tag, I don't think it would have been too much to ask to add an extra battery in with the packaging. That would have been nice. This is a fully wireless machine. You are not able to plug this into a power supply at all. That is something also that I would have liked to see, an RCA jack in case both of your batteries die or just the one that you have. There is a quick charge feature on here to where you're able to plug it in, and after 15 minutes you have an hour and a half of runtime. That's what their website claims. And it does charge very quickly, but also if you forget to charge your batteries at the beginning of a long day, you are in a little bit of trouble. On the side of the machine, there are your buttons for your adjustments, a small digital readout, and a USB Type-C port for charging. When I first turned on this machine, I was happy to see that the readout was in hertz and not volts. The buttons are better than a touchscreen for sure, but sometimes when I go to turn on the machine with the middle button, at times I don't press directly in the middle of the button and I'll end up just changing the machine speed instead. It seems like whatever is underneath these buttons is almost like a rocker, and if you're not exactly on top of the button that you want to press, the machine does something else that you don't want it to do. They talk about a feature on their website that's inside of the machine called anti-gravity. These are magnets within the system that will work against the cartridge membrane resistance, making each hit slightly sharper and injecting more pigment while doing less damage to the skin with their skin response system that allows for slightly extended needle contact under the skin. Fancy. The last standout feature that I want to talk about on this machine is their start-stop feature, which I ended up accidentally finding out about. I put the machine down on my tray while it was still running to grab another paper towel, which I do all the time with wireless machines just because I don't have a foot pedal, and instead of just pressing the on-off button, putting it down, grabbing a paper towel, and then turning it back on, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I feel like it's just faster to put your machine down on your tray while it's still running and then pick it back up and use it. I was wiping my client's skin down while the machine was still running on my tray, and then it just shut off. I thought to myself, great, This expensive machine that I'm supposed to be doing a review on just broke on the first day of testing. So to figure out what was wrong, I picked the machine back up, and as soon as I picked it back up, it started up again. Then I tried it a few more times to see if it was maybe a connection issue with the battery, but I realized that it was just a built-in feature. As you can tell, I just start doing things without reading directions. So let's talk about noise and vibration. Starting out with noise, this is the Avenger 3 Pro. And then this is the Avenger 2 Pro. It's definitely quieter than the Avenger 2 Pro, which is a welcome change. Not that the Avenger 2 Pro was loud. I mean, compared to coils, these are super quiet, but always a quieter machine, I think, is nice that it's not just buzzing in your ear all day. When it comes to vibration, I'm gonna turn both of these on. They're right about, I mean, I can't really tell a difference between the two when it comes to vibration. They're not low vibration machines. Compared to a coil, yes, they are less vibrational, but compared to a pen style or a traditional rotary tattoo machine, these are definitely higher vibration. It's not something that throws me off, but for people that are used to just pen machines or people that have learned on just pen machines, this vibration could be a little bit to get used to. Like I said earlier, I was a little bit concerned about how this machine would be balanced since it is a little bit larger and bulkier. But as soon as I started to use it, I really did enjoy the balance of it. I like the back weight on my hand. It helps me stabilize for lining, and it acts like a counterweight when I'm shading. If you use the Avenger 2 Pro, it's basically the same feel. There's really not very much of a difference when it comes to balance. And the extra weight added because of the battery doesn't really change anything. Now, bagging this machine up can be a little bit of an awkward experience until you figure it out. What I like to do is use a bottle bag and cut a small hole in the corner. I'll put the machine in with the needle bar already attached to the bag, feeding the needle bar through the hole, and then I'll attach the tube through the hole in the bag, adjusting the needle bar stabilizer and the tube before tightening the vise. And then I will tape the bag to itself right below the vise so the bag stays in place, and also I will tape the back of the bag shut. The corner of the bag on the top, I try to center above the center of the machine, and then I'll invert the pointy top so it's not sticking out so far. When it comes to breaking down and cleaning this machine, it is very simple. You just need to make sure not to get any disinfectant inside of the USB Type-C charging port. Okay, what everyone wants to know, is it good for lining? Is it good for shading? What style is it best for, and should you buy this machine? Starting out with lining, this is one of my favorite machines to use on a big outline day. You're really able to use any grouping from tight 3 all the way up to the biggest liner that you have. This machine is able to handle it just because it has so many strokes, so many different options for you to be able to control how this machine hits. Like I mentioned earlier, the counterweight on the back of my hand is really nice to be able to help stabilize me while I'm lining. I feel like I'm able to get smoother lines with this opposed to a pen style machine to where I have to use my hand to really make sure that the machine is stable, to where the weight of this machine almost kind of weighs your hand down a little bit in a good way. Next, is it good for shading? Once again, this is one of my favorite machines to use for color packing and shading. I really like to use this machine for whip shading with a tight 3. I use the 4.2 millimeter stroke with a really low machine speed, and even at low machine speeds, the Avenger 3 Pro still has a lot of punchy power. The Avenger 3 Pro also works really well with color packing and solid black work. It's very efficient and smooth. The only style that I'm not a huge fan of doing with the Avenger 3 Pro and the Avenger 2 Pro is smooth black and gray with a mag. I will drop the stroke down to the 3.2 millimeter stroke. It is a very soft hitting machine at that point, and I am able to get really smooth gradients from black all the way out to really light grays, but I just don't like the way it feels when I'm doing smooth black and gray. Like I mentioned earlier, I really like to use a tight 3 using whip shading. That style of black and gray, these machines are the absolute best. I love the way that they work. I love how the weight on the back of my hand almost acts as like, it makes it more of a pendulum and it makes my work easier. But when it comes to smooth black and gray, I just prefer a pen style machine. It's just the way that I prefer to work. In my opinion, the Avenger 3 Pro is best for line work of any size, black work, color work, and whip shading with a tight 3. The question of should you buy this machine really depends on where you're at in your tattooing career. If you're a full-time artist making full-time money, it's $1,500 and you're gonna make that back really quickly. It's gonna pay for itself, no big deal. But if you're an apprentice and you're just getting your first setup and all that kind of stuff, spending $1,500 on a machine is probably gonna eat really far into your budget, especially because you're not making a bunch of money yet. If you have the budget, go for it. But at the same time, the Avenger 2 Pro, I think it's like $599 or $699 right now, and then you can take the rest of the money and put it into your setup. So it really just depends on what your budget is. To be honest with everybody, if Vlad Blad didn't send me this machine, I was buying it either way. I saw this announced and I was like, yep, I'm buying that. I don't care how much it is. But that is just because I'm a really big fan of the 2, so I wanted the 3. I am really happy with the machine, and I would be happy if I spent the money on it. Now, obviously, everybody likes a different style of machine for their style of tattooing. From my experience, and if you like the reviews I've done on previous machines and we kind of have the same taste in machines, I can't see somebody not liking it. So what do you all think? Are you upgrading from the 2 to the 3? Or if you don't have the 2, are you gonna just buy the 3? Or are you just not gonna buy either one of these machines? Let me know down in the comments what you think. If you wanna see me review any specific machine, feel free to leave it down in the comments. If not, I appreciate you watching the video and I hope it was helpful to you. I'll let you have a good day. Goodbye.